So last night, the Jaguars played in the Hall of Fame game against the Las Vegas Raiders, where they lost by a score of 27-11. So I guess we got to talk about it. Now, I know a lot of people are viewing this game in a lot of different ways. I am not going to overreact to it since it is preseason and it is almost a pre-preseason game, as this is only like every other team in the NFL doesn't have this game. And the Jaguars only played in it after 2 padded practices. But I'm not going to dictate how you guys feel. If you guys feel some type of way, that is perfectly okay. So when I look at this game, I am going to take 2 major positives out of this game. One of those positives is that, look, nobody got hurt. We were a little bit stressed with Tyson Campbell. He was on the ground wincing. I remember when I watched the replay of it, I felt a little bit better because I saw that he wasn't hurt below the waist. So it wasn't like a knee, it wasn't like a hamstring. He was kind of holding it like this. And I think it just turned out to be a shoulder stinger. And I heard from Mike Duraco, I don't remember seeing it with my own eyes, but he did come back into the game. I think it was like a shoulder stinger. So that is terrific news. And I know a lot of people were like, take the starters out after that. But it turned out Doug Peterson was probably right, played the stars a little bit, and we got those guys some action. Another big positive is that Travon Walker looked like a complete beast. On one of the first pass plays, he goes in there and gets pressure on the quarterback. Even though they called like roughing the passer, helmet to helmet, the helmets kind of barely kissed each other, and the quarterback fell down. But the good thing was we saw Travon Walker go back there, get some pressure, and then later on in the game, he did get a clean sack on Jarrett Stidham. So when you watch this, it was really exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I was pumped to see that. I mean, he was working that left tackle. I don't know who the hell the left tackle is for the Raiders, but Travon Walker took that man to school, and I certainly hope that's not their starting left tackle, because if so, they're going to have some issues. But Travon Walker looked the part. Him and his big arms were it was fun to see that. Now, when it comes to the offense, I don't know too much about what to say from the offense, just because really, nobody really played. I mean, the only real starters that played were like Walker Little and Fortner, and I didn't really study up too much about what happened on the offensive line. Also, I know Will Richardson didn't play very well, I'll say that. Laquan Treadwell played, like Snoop Connor played, and just the offense really didn't move much. And the big reason was because Jake Luton and Kyle Sloter were terrible. I mean, they were awful to watch. They really were. And I really hope that CJ Beathard can come back and start playing after Trevor Lawrence leaves the field, because look, I understand quarterback play isn't going to be the best, but we want to be able to, give these wide receivers and tight ends good reps. And when these guys are throwing it to the sidelines trying to complete out routes, it's like 10 yards into the bench. And no, I don't. And they were just, you could tell the other side, Jarrett Stidham and Nick Mullins were so much better than Jake Luton and Kyle Sloter. It was just honestly pretty unbearable to watch. It was not a joy to watch at all, and they really struggle when it comes to moving the ball. But that was the offensive side. I can't be too critical of the offense because nobody played. Let's be real. Now the defense, on the other hand, showed a lot of concerns. I mean, they were gashing us in a run, and I think they were kind of gashing us in the area where we didn't have any starters out there. We had Fatu Kasi that was out. Devin Lloyd is out. Also, Aluakin is out. So that's one of our interior linemen and 2 of our linebackers, and they were kind of gashing us up the middle, including some screenplays. It was disappointing performance from Devon Hamilton. I saw he was looking pretty good in training camp from the videos that I saw, but out here, I don't know where he went, but it was the middle was wide open with him in there. Also, Shaq Quarterman played a terrible game. I mean, couldn't get off blocks. He was getting lost in coverage, wasn't making tackles. I mean, that was an obvious one. And also, Chad Muma, I guess, didn't play good, which is weird because when I watched, I'll admit, I did not go back and rewatch this game. Just do I really want to do that to myself? But I remember Chad Muma, he seemed like he was kind of flying around. I kept seeing his number. I mean, people were critical because he went in there, tried to get a tackle, and kind of got stiff armed. But I wasn't too critical because he kind of got stiff armed, but he did enough to really slow down the running back, and then they were able to kind of come up and clean up the tackle. So he only gained like a yard after that. But he was in position, and it seemed like he was kind of flying all over the field a bit. But I guess he wasn't doing very good getting off blocks. And, you definitely saw like, okay, he was probably a big reason why these runs up the middle were kind of going through and some of the screen passes. So, and really just seeing that performance really makes me want to have Devin Lloyd come back. I mean, Devin Lloyd, mainly for the fact that, look, Devin Lloyd needs to come over here and get some live reps because right now he's injured, kind of nursing a hamstring injury. We need him to come out there and get some valuable reps for the Jaguars. And hopefully, he comes back sooner rather than later. Now, some things I learned about this game. One thing that I said in a video I made a few days ago, I detailed like what could potentially hold the Jaguars back. Like if the Jaguars were to perform at their ceiling, what are some things that will hold the Jaguars back from hitting that ceiling? A big thing that I noted was that the Jaguars cannot get the injury bug. And a big reason for that is the Jaguars look to be pretty top heavy right now. If the Jaguars gets, a lot of injuries, I don't know if we have the right depth to be able to really defend that and really like overcome that. And, we saw some of these guys, like some of our backups on defense, like Shaq Quarterman might not even make the team. And he's out there, kind of getting almost like a second team linebacker. So if something were to happen to our linebackers, it would be concerning to have him out there. And, just even some of our backup players, we're not doing very good on either side of the ball. So the Jaguars are top heavy. They need to stay healthy or else we could be in for a long year. And some teams can overcome the injury bug. I remember the Ravens last year. They were getting really, really injured, but they have a good enough culture. They had a good enough backup to be able to, pretty much be in a playoff hunt up until week 18. The Jaguars would not be in a similar case. Another thing I learned was that the pass rush looked pretty good between, Travon Walker and also Arden Key went in there and did some good stuff. We know that we have Josh Allen out there. He wasn't playing, and even Devin Lloyd can like rush the pass rusher. So it looks like, man, like you saw what happened this game if you can affect the passer. And hopefully, I mean, Arden Key was really impressive. It was fun to see him out there. I was like, who's number 49? Oh yeah, that's that Arden Key guy we just signed. So that was cool to see. Some good games. I noted that Travon Walker had a good game. The running back Sargent was pretty impressive. I don't think he'll make the roster or anything. Well, even maybe if James Robinson starts off on the IR, I don't know what that looks like, but maybe he earns a spot on the roster. Cottrell, I'll put him on here just because he had the touchdown play, the only touchdown of the game for the Jags, but I thought Sargent outplayed him. Arden Key, like I mentioned, Trey Herndon had a good game, and also wide receiver Willie Johnson put out a pretty decent performance. Now, that was one thing while I'm talking about him, it was a little bit disappointing because I was really in this game wanted to see guys like, Winningham or like Kevin Austin Jr. Come out here and show some stuff, even like the Prince guy, that tight end. But it was more of the Willie Johnson show, and he was out there. He got a lot of opportunities. Also on punt return, he got opportunities. He got plenty of passes. They gave it to him on a reverse. I don't think he has any chance of making the roster just because, he's not the type of receiver that the Jaguars, really need right now. Like, we don't need a jet sweep guy or something like that. Like, we don't need an undersized wide receiver. If anything, we need the big guy, the big wide receiver. But, I'll give him credit. He had a good game. Looked pretty cool out there with the dreadlocks. So those are some notable games. And I hope going forward, CJ Beathard can start playing because that was not fun to watch from Jake Luton or Kyle Sloter. It was not fun. Now, in 1 week from today, the Jaguars have another preseason game at home against the Browns. That one, we should be able to see Trevor Lawrence some and, the entire offense for at least like a couple drives. Now, at that game, I'll start being a little bit more critical of the team, and maybe I'm not going to go into full panic mode until like if the Jaguars sputter and don't do much, if they don't do much the following week, then I'll start kind of panicking a little bit, because that would be 2 games where the starting offense doesn't do much. Hopefully the defense continues to play better. I'm just sick of both offense and defense both not doing well. And you can even throw in the special teams too. I mean, we missed one 60-yard kick. We made another one. Didn't really, it was kind of unfair to Santoso because, they put him out there for one kick and it was like a 60-yarder. I don't know why they didn't. They had a couple more opportunities to hit long field goals, but they elected to punt. I don't know why they didn't just try to kick the ball. But Elliott Fry, I think, made a kick too. I don't have that written down. But yeah, there's, I'll continue to make videos for you guys. It was fun doing the live stream last night, I will say. And thanks everyone for being there. We definitely had a lot of people in the building for that. But we'll continue to monitor what's going on with the Jaguars. Once I get a understanding of what happened to Tyson Campbell, I'll probably put it out there and talk about it a little bit, but I think he is okay. So yeah, with that said, thank you guys all for watching. Drop likes if you guys can. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and go Jags.
Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars, too much for your crew to handle. Keep it lit, and this is the #1 YouTube channel by UCF Jaguar. Yeah, we about to blast off. If you've been a fan, then this is the dopest platform. Yeah, never hold back. Gotta represent for the teal and black.